Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayemi Meseches MEILAH Daf Yud Daled. We begin at the Mishnah, 3 lines off the bottom of Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Hakein shebarei she'ilan. We have a cane, a bird nest, sitting atop a tree. What kind of tree? Shel Hegdish, which belongs to Hegdish. So what's the status of that bird nest? Loi nehenin v'loi moyalin. Although you're not meant to use it, but there's no me'ilah on that material. Now, what material was used to build that nest? Was it local, twigs clipped off this tree of Hegdish, or was it imported from the outside? The Gemara will discuss this. So that's the cane on top of the Hegdish tree. There's no me'ilah, but it's usher to use. Sheba Ashera, however, it's sitting on top an Ashera tree, an Avodah Zarah tree. Yat is Bakana. You can use that nest. Just flick it off with a stick, with a kana, and use it. Why over here is it permissible, in contrast to the previous case? Will be discussed in the Gemara. Finally, Hamagdash is a chayrish. Person gives away his entire forest to the Hegdish. What portions of the forest are me'ilah enabled? The entire asset. Me'alam b'kuli is me'ilah on the entire forest, the trees, the leaves that fall off it. Everything is included in this Hegdish. Everything has some value and has me'ilah applied to it. Return to the next line. Itma, we have a discussion back in Maseches Avodah Zarah. We know that if a guy is mevatel his Avodah Zarah, he nullifies it. It loses its status. It loses its isser. What happens if the Avodah Zarah just disintegrates? It breaks on its own, falls apart. What happens to that isser status? Itmar. Avodas kachavim shenishtabro MEILAH. So it broke on its own. The guy didn't do it. It wasn't an intentional bittul. Rabbi Yechon Amar Asura, he says it maintains its status. It's still asur, like any other Avodah Zarah. He says it's okay to use. Why? Rabbi Yechon Amar Asura. Rabbi Yechon says it's asur. The loy bitla oivit kacham. The guy never nullified it. He never did an act to destroy it, to break it, to nullify it. Therefore, it maintains its status. According to Rish Lakish, it's okay to use. You know why? The guy is thinking, look, it couldn't save itself, it's going to save me. So he disregards it. He loses respect for it. And it's a de facto nullification. The guy is thinking, he's saying to himself, she couldn't save itself. Well, Didi Matzloi, it's going to save me, it's going to protect me. Of course, it's useless, it's worthless. Rish Lakish, you had a question, Rabbi Yechanan. You say that a broken Avodah Zarah is still asur. Look at our Mishnah. The bird nest on top of the Hegdish tree, you shouldn't use. Sheba Ashera, however, Yat is Bakana, flick it off and use it. MEILAH, let's assume that the bird used local material from this tree, which he clicked off, to build the nest. So that's an Avodah Zarah shenishtabro MEILAH, broke without the guy's input. Broken Avodah Zarah seems to be okay to use. Uktani and the Mishnah seems to say it's okay. Yatas bakana, flick it off and use it. That proves my point. A broken Avodah Zarah loses its status. No, the Isi Eitzim Alma, the twigs were imported from elsewhere. And that's why it's okay to use. Says the Gemara, okay, so assumingly the first case in the Mishnah by the Hegdish as well, speaking about imported materials, if that's the case, Amai shel Hegdish, ein nehenin ve'ein moyalin. Why, if it's a Hegdish tree, off limits, you can't use it? Why? What's the difference between Ashera, where we say imported materials is okay, same should be by the Hegdish? Why does the Mishnah disallow use? Ein nehenin. Ella. The fact that the Mishnah puts the Hegdish nest off limits tells us that we're speaking about local materials clipped off this very tree. We're speaking about growth that arrived after the Hegdish had been designated, so it was Hegdish growth, because however the Mishnah holds that's not an issue of Me'ilah, Ein Ma'al Begedul, even something which grows into the Hegdish proper, after it had been donated, does not have Hegdish status. But still, Midrabanan, it's, that is, it belongs to the Hegdish, it's also Bahanoah Midrabanan. So that would explain why it's Asr. And likewise, in the next case of the Asherah, presumably we're speaking about a similar scenario where the nest was built from local materials, from this very tree. And the Mishnah says it's okay. That's right to me. That a broken Avodah is mutter. I'll even prove it to you. Because if we're talking about imported materials, Amayat is bekone. Why does he have to flick it off from afar? Just simply reach up and take it directly. Why this indirect procedure? That proves that in fact we're speaking about a nest that was built from local materials, which are very similar to the actual branches that are still connected to the tree. And a person might confuse the two. Well, if I'm taking this, why can't I just take that? Therefore, keep away. If you want to take it, fine, but indirectly. This way, it's a note of caution, not to confuse the two. Okay, so now it's back to Kashan or B'yechanan. If in fact we're speaking about a nest built from materials off this tree's Avodah Zarah, how could you walk away with that nest? No. Both cases of the Mishnah, the Hegdish tree, the Asherah tree, are speaking either or. Either option works, whether it's local materials or imported materials. Either way, it's Asr. Because even imported materials are Asr Midrabanan. If you're going to take the nest, you might clip off the tree. So really the nest is off limits, whether it's Hegdish, whether it's Asherah. So what does the Mishnah mean when it says Yatas Bekane? Flick it off. It sounds like you take it. No, my yat is, it means the birdies in there. Yat is efreichem, the little birds inside. Wave at them and get them to fly off, then you could take the birds. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, you're right. The nest is always off limits. Whether the Hegdish tree, whether Asherah tree, whether local material, whether imported materials. It's also Bahana. And even when it's imported, because with the Rabban, we don't want you to confuse things. Amalei Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yirmiyah. Let me explain to you what you could take, what you can't. Efroich. If you have these little birds that can fly, kan v'kan mutarin, whether it's on the Hegdish tree or the Asherah tree, it's okay. It doesn't identify with the tree. It's not part of the tree. But if you find beitzim, eggs inside the nest, kan v'kan asurin. Hegdish or Asherah is asur because they need to sit there. They're considered like part of the tree, so to speak, and the Chachamim considered as part of the tree, off limits. Arabashi, what about something in between? You have little chicks, little birds there that still need their mother's care, need their mother to sit with them, and they can't really fly yet. The tree like the eggs. They're part of the tree entity and are covered by the same issue. Okay, so we spoke about a nest that was discovered on top of a Hegdish tree, which is Asr, top of an Asherah tree. Going to Rish Lakish, speaking about the nest on top of the Hegdish tree, which is constructed from local materials, Gidulim, which are not also Torah. But Rabbanon you can't, because you might confuse it with the actual tree that's there now. By the Asherah is no issue at all, even with local materials. Going to Rish Lakish, a broken Avodah Zarah is no longer asur. Going to Rabbi Yochanan. In both cases, and whether it's local or imported, it would be asur. Even imported is asur midrabanan. The only thing you could take is the efroichem, which were not don't really identify with the tree and not covered by the same issue. Continues the Mishnah. Hagiz baram shalachu eitzim. Managers of the Hegdish purchased wood trees for construction purposes. Moyalim ve'etzim, there's MEILAH on the actual wood, which is suitable for construction purposes, but not, the sawdust or the leaves that fall off these branches. They're not really suitable for construction purposes, and were never really granted hegdish status. Moyalim ve'etzim, ve'in me'alim le'b'shipui, there's no MEILAH on the shipui, on the sharings, the sheddings, nor on the leaves of those trees. Okay, now speaking about the construction in the Beis HaMikdash, how did they go about it? Amar Shmuel, you should know, Boinen b'chayil, when they built, it was chayil, it was mundane, it wasn't yet kaddish. So whatever they constructed was still chayil. V'achar kach magdishin, after a while, they had a section up, they would magdish it. My time, why did they do it this way? So basically, they purchased the materials and didn't pay for them. The workers worked and they haven't been paid until after a while, when they could expend hegdish money to pay for the materials and for the workers. My time. The answer is like this: Mandim is nadiv mois. When a person donates money for bedek habayis, magdish lo. His intention is that it should be immediately kaddish, effective immediately. In which case, you can't just use that money for intangibles, such as paying workers for their labor. You can't use it for labor. What then? The Amar, so the manager, after they complete a section of construction, says like this: Teicho kedushas mois habinyan. Have this money's kedusha be transferred onto the built section. Now the money is hegdish free and can be used to pay for supplies and labor. If you have a line, the umnan mischarni pays for the umnan's salary. Meisvei comes a kash. Turn Talmud Bavli. So we're meant to purchase each year's karba materials, including the ketores, from that year's machzah shekel fund. What if you have leftovers from last year? And it's expensive material. You don't want to just give it away. You want to just sell it to a private person. You want to try to reuse it, to recycle it. How could you do that? How can you refresh last year's ketores and buy it from this year's money? That whole elaborate system here. What about the leftover ketores? How did they go about using it for next year? So it required the following system. Several steps involved. They had workers, working in the Beis HaMikdash, fixing things up, maintenance, right? So they would put aside the ketores as per the earmarked for salary for the workers. And they had money which had been set aside to pay for their salaries. Now, here the Mepharshim explained, you can take the money and use it for salary. We're talking about Trumas Halishka money from the Moiser Trumas Halishka, which was in the chamber, was meant for this purpose, for paying salaries as well. So you set aside $100 for the workers. You don't give them $100. Rather, you set aside $100 of the ketores, and you mechal the kedusha of the ketores onto the $100. Now the money is back kaddish, and ketores is kaddish free. You grant the ketores to the workers in lieu of their salary. Now they don't have much use of ketores. They'll be more than happy to have us rebuy it. So they resell it to the hegdish with that money. And they go and rebuy this ketores from the new truma, from the new money. And now we have, so not that same money, new money from Truma Chadasha. Now we have fresh ketores bought from the new fund and suitable for this year's akro. The question is why? Do you have to do this system? Set aside money and have the ketores mechul on the money. Very simple. Just have them build. Take the ketores and mechal the kedusha on the binyan. The Leika binyan, we speak, we don't have any construction to work with. But you just told me there is salary to pay. The Leika binyan kashir mois. Yeah, they've been working, they've been maintaining, but there isn't enough built material which has value corresponding to the salary that they're owed. Maintenance isn't always visible on the final product, right? So you don't have this option. That's why it necessitated the other option, setting aside money for their salary and going through this whole recycling process. Now, even if the value doesn't match up with the amount you're looking for, technically you could still be mechalel. Even a lopsided transfer works. So I'm not Shmuel teaches hegdish shava money of expensive hegdish, worth of money. Shechilu, which was nischalel on something just worth a pruta, shava pruta mechulel works. So why not do the same here? That's only if it's done after the fact. The chatchila should be something of equal value. Hence, they opted for the more sort of market approach. Rav Papa Amar, I'll tell you why they had to wait. Why did Shmuel tell us that they're boinen b'choil and then they're magdish later? I'll tell you why. Rav Papa Hanyu time, but the boinen b'choil. You know why? They build in a mundane state. The Torah wasn't given to angels; it was given to us people. You know the famous line, I think, from the Kotzker Rebbe used to say, "Hashamayim, Shemayim Lashem, v'aretz nasam li'adam." The heavens are Hashem's domain. Hashem. The earth below, was granted to li'adam, to human beings. He used to say that our job is to make from the aretz, to make it into heaven, to spiritualize it. But he used to say, you want us to do the job. You don't expect us to be malachim. He used to say, malachim, you have enough in Shemayim. You're looking for human beings to develop themselves. So and therefore, it's pretty difficult to refrain from leaning on the wall and sitting in the shade and having a gnaw from this hegdish. That's why they waited until after it was built, the workers were out of the way, and then they were magdish. Amri, their concern was, they said, Dilma boilim mizga. Perhaps the worker will attempt to lean on it, will want to rest on it. V'zog alay and rest on it. Ibana bekucha. It's already kaddish as they're building it. That's an issue. Yishtakach to kamol bekucha. He's doing me'ilah. That's why they postponed the hegdish until after it's built. Tanan. Now, what does our Mishnah say? The managers purchased the wood, there's me'ilah on it, there's no issues with the sharings, with the leaves. Why is there me'ilah? I thought that construction material was me'ilah free until much later. Here too, they should buy it, they should take it, and still not be magdish it. Why is there me'ilah? Amri, the answer was like this. The Amri, for the same concern, the dilma, perhaps a person will mistakenly, want to take a rest and lean on it. Turns out he's doing me'ilah. So why was me'ilah activated at this early stage? Omar Papa was speaking about a short, short supply here. You're right, we're speaking about a large delivery for long-term use. Certainly there's a concern about mistaken use, and they did not activate the Kedusha as per our discussion. I was just speaking about a small delivery meant for just today, for one day use. Meant to be used today, and in such a short period, nobody will forget, mistakenly use it. Hence, there's no concern about me'ilah. Okay, let's do a quick chazor of today's daf. Discussed if the guy did it, it's bottle. If it happened on its own or by way of a bird. Machlekes, Rechon says Aser, Rish Lakish says Mutter, and they had their respective ways of explaining our Mishnah according to their positions. The Mishnah spoke about a nest on a tree. On the head of this tree is Aser B'Hana, but there's no Me'ilah. On the Asherah tree you can flick. According to Rish Lakish you can use it. According to Rabbi Yechon, I'm not talking about using the nest, which is Aser regardless. Rather we're talking about the Ephraim, which are no longer relating to the actual tree. There's no Isser D'Rabbanan, no concern of confusing with the tree material and their mutter. Shmuel teaches that the Kedusha on the construction material only happened later on. Either it's because the money was Kaddish, it can only be converted into actual, the Kedusha can only be transferred into actual material, that's post-construction. For concern of mistaken misuse, because the Lanit and Torah, the Malach and Sharis. It's Lacharava and Psuristay.